You see, yeah, we are on YouTube. So, good evening, YouTube. We are here for another English immersion. My name is Warley. But before I start the conversation, for you that are here on YouTube watching us, I will explain a little bit about the platform, so you are gonna understand this idea of what you are doing right now. Okay. So, Talk and Talk is a conversation platform for beginner, intermediate, and advanced speakers. So that's not mandatory, specifically important the level of your English here. The conversations are for all levels. Okay. The main point that this is not a regular class, so we are not here for teach you directly. I'm not an English teacher or a language teacher at all. So the main idea here is to practice the language in a real environment, and you will develop your confidence and your fluence as an English speaker in this case. And yeah, that's the main point. Besides English, we have here a lot of language like Spanish, Italian, French, German, and Mandarin, I guess. So we have a lot of language, and you can see that on the Talk and Talk website. Okay, so that's the idea. Let's start with the question number one. So what are you currently interested in? I don't know if it's about language, about your job, or about any kind of subject. I don't know. So let me know, Milen. What do you think?
For me, I have some interesting like run because I start run the end of the last year, and but I am a bad running runner because I am very slow. But I could improve this year. In June, I think I was very better than before, but I stopped. I stay almost 3 months without running. So now I am trying to back again. So it's difficult back, but I I think I hope improve faster than the last year. So now I am interested in I don't know in uh, go at the gym to my muscles. I don't know how can I say fortalecer my legs, for example, to run better. So now I am interested in my improve my running and study English too, because now I am focused on speaking and listen, because most of the time I was word and in studying grammar and vocabulary, but now I change my my goal maybe and try to study practice more my speaking and my listening.
Yeah, I think for me it's almost the same because I like to run. I'm trying to develop this habit for run like 3 times a week, for example. But it's really difficult to do that to run on the street, for example. It's complicated for me. Uh, and make this consistency on run. It's very complicated, you know. So I think 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I guess, I ran my first competition, my first 5 kilometers run directly, and it was nice. But after that, I never ran 5 kilometers again. So it's really complicated to put this on consistency and create this habit for me. But it's nice. I like to run. I like to run outside, and mainly because I hate go to the gym, for example, and do exercise in a indoor place, you know. So it's really complicated for me. I don't know. I hate that. Uh, but yeah, I think it's a good habit. It's nice to do that. And I also understand you about English because I have studied English for a long time and a lot of years focused just on vocabulary and grammar. And I wasn't talking English, before this year, and I have started in talking talk on the English immersions. I was I wasn't talking in English, so it's very complicated to develop the language if you are not talking and you are not listening. So conversation it's for me is the main important point on develop a language, so it's pretty important. So yeah, nice points. And what about you, Bren? What do you think?
Right now, I am interested in developing my English skills, like speaking, listening, reading as well. I'm not able to do hobbies I used to do. I love running, just like you, but I needed to undergo surgery recently, and I'm not able right now. So I am trying to focus in my knowledge, like languages, programming, because I work as a programmer and things like that.
Nice. I think Millennium was saying about to go back to run, I guess. And I think for you, for example, it's more complicated because of your surgery, so
Yeah,
I think the recovery is complicated, right?
yeah. I am. Uh, I'm not even walking properly, so running will take some time.
Yeah, I think the point of fear of I don't know, to injure again. I don't know what happened with you, but I think this point it's also complicated. This fear of to back, right? So
Yeah.
it's difficult. But okay, so let's go to the question number two. I think it's a little bit related. But is there a new hobby or activity you are trying out these days? I don't know. Again, if it's related to just language, so another other thing, or maybe a hobby that you want to start and you have not started yet. So uh, let me know, Brennan, what you think.
Um, in my case, uh, learning English, studying English, it's not a hobby, I'm doing that because it's important for my career, for uh, knowledge and my personal growth. But it's not a hobby. I don't have fun reading a book in English, And all my hobbies used to be like physical activities, and I am bad mood because I'm not able to do any of them at uh, nowadays. So I'm searching something to do. Like I've just finished House of the Dragons, the TV show, and I'm kind of sad because the next season is just in 2026. I'm trying to find a book to read or a TV show to watch, but I'm a little bit sad, for not being able to do things I used to do and I used to like.
Yeah, I really feel because I have watched a video on Instagram sometime, and the guy was saying about how can we relax in some points, mainly when you work from home, for example, and when you don't, I don't know, like you don't do a lot of exercise every day when you are at home all the time, So I think the point of relax when you work from home, when you are staying at home all the time, is doing exercise. And it's a little bit like a paradox, because how can I relax and how can I rest? I think how can I rest doing exercise? It's like strange, but actually, when you are from home at home all the time, you need to relax your mind in other way. So it's at this point it's nice to do our exercise, go to run or do something like that. And I don't know. For me, for example, it's complicated because I'm at home all the time, and sometimes I just need to walk, just to go outside and do something, and just to walk outside. And I don't know, it's a strange point. So I really feel it's complicated to not to be able to do that. But yeah, there are a lot of activities that you can do at home to relax. But it's nice to, I don't know, in some time when you can obviously do that outside and try other activities. I don't know. So yeah, it's a good point. Uh, and what about you, Milen? What do you think?
Before I answer the question, I totally agree with this study because I think it's very important to exercise. And for me, when the exercise is outdoor is better too. And because I used to work a lot and I couldn't do exercise before the last year, for example, because I worked all the time. And this year I tried to change my routine, and now I can go to gym, I can go run, I can go swimming, and I think my life is much better than before. Um, a few weeks ago, I was thinking about my routine, and I think now my life is much better, and I think it's because I can do exercise because it was the only thing that I changed in comparing with the last year. So I totally agree. I know it's hard to do exercise because sometimes I think I can do better things like read, eating. So, but when I finish my exercise, I feel so better than before. So it's very important to exercise. I know it's cliche, but this year I could see these different things in my life because before I used to don't do exercise, and now I change and I am doing a lot of exercise, and it's very good. I don't like to go to the gym, but I know it's important to improve my running. So I I am doing lifting weights, but I don't like to. And about the second question, I think for me, something new that I am doing now is reading in English. Before, I used to read only books that I read in Portuguese, and now I change. I choose a new book in English and I am reading. My experience is good because I am happy because I can understand. There are a lot of words that I can understand, but in the end, I can understand what is happened. So it's new, and I like to read, so I can improve reading a book in English, a new book in English, and it calls The Housemaid. It's A Empregada in Portuguese. Is famous, a little bit famous. It's a thriller, and I am totally excited with the story. Even in English, I can pay a lot of attention, and it's good because when I read in Portuguese, I used to read very fast, but in English it's better because I can read a few pages per day. So for me, it's a good experience.
Yeah, that's a nice point. Actually, I was thinking here about reading in English. Actually, I want to create this habit of reading every day and mainly reading an English book. But I'm trying actually to just read every day. I don't know, a news, a daily news, for example, in English. And today I was reading about actually it was a news about solar energy or something like that on CNN website, and I don't know, it's hard to understand specific vocabulary in English, you know. I'm not used to read that, and it, it was pretty complicated to understand some points and to understand everything. So it's complicated. It's different when, for example, when we are here speaking English and to have a conversation about hobbies or something like that. That's common to us to discuss about this, and we have vocabulary, but it's hard to talk about and to understand specific vocabulary, you know. So yeah, I don't know, it's complicated, and I think reading in English help that a lot. So I think it's really important, and I hope I start to do that and reading books in English and all these things. But let me ask you a question, Lynn. Brennan was saying about study English, and he thinks that study English is not a hobby for him. But what do you think about that? Do you think he study English is a hobby for you, for example? Lynn, you?
Uh, yes, I think now it's like a hobby because when I start, it was terrible. Because I started studying English almost 3 years ago. Um, because I had to do a exam for my master, and I started to study only to read and learn vocabulary, and it was very terrible. And I didn't like, but I think now I can enjoy because I can compare my English now with the beginning when I start, and I can see I improve a lot. I know I have a lot of problems now. I make many mistakes, but when I remember when I start, I feel very happy, and I want to keep my continue my studies. And today I was listen a podcast and I could understand, so I feel very happy because for me it's terrible, my listen is terrible, my speaking is not good, but I can speak, but my listen is the worst skill for me. And today I was listen um, a podcast, and this podcast it wasn't for learning for student. It was a random podcast, and I could understand, so I feel very happy. So because this I now I can study, and it's easy study now. So for me now, it's like a hobby. I feel happy when I have a time to study English, to listen a podcast and read the book. It's a good time for me.
Nice. That's a a nice point because I really don't know specifically about the concept of I don't know the idea of consider study a language like a hobby, but I'm usually consider a hobby the opposite of a obligation, you know. So for me, study English right now is not a hobby because it sometimes all the actually almost all the time it's boring and I hate to study a language and study grammar and all this stuff, but I like to learn a language and mainly use a language as a tool, as a point of communication. And it's nice for me. I feel really happy when I'm here, for example, to have a conversation in English, 100% in English, you know. So in March or April, I guess, in at this year, on this year, I couldn't to do that. So it's this point is nice, but actually, even with that, nowadays I need to study a lot of language. I need to improve a lot of my English, and it is still an obligation. So for me, I not consider English as a hobby, but it's different compared to Spanish, for example, because I don't study specifically or directly Spanish nowadays, but I like to, I don't know, just watch a video, just watch a series or a movie, or just to read something in Spanish, and it's nice because I have a knowledge in on the language, and I have studied Spanish for a long time, and I have fun doing that. So I think it's different, but yeah, I really don't know. I think it can be different for a lot of people. I don't know the reason for you, Brennan, for example. Why do you think study English is not a hobby for you? But yeah, I think for me it's related to that. It's kind of uh the opposite of obligation, and to have fun it's related to a hobby, you know. But yeah, I think it's the main point.
I think for
Yeah.
me is because I'm not obligated to study. I don't study English because of my work. So
Mm-hmm.
it's for because I like listen English because for me it sounds good. And I think I study English to travel. So I think in this case, I think for me is easy because I don't need, it's not obligation. I don't need speaking English. So I think because this for me is like a hobby. And like I said, I don't study grammar. I only read, listen, podcasts, try to speak. So it is easy because now I don't need more a note and write the do exercise. I don't do this anymore because I think now I need to practice because I know a lot of words. When I read the words, I know the meaning. So why I
Mhm.
can speak these words when I am trying to speak? So for me now, I think I need to practice. If I can use the all the words that I know, it's enough. But the problem is most of the time I don't know this word, and maybe time later I remember the word or another word to replace. So I think I need to practice. But as I said, for me, it's not obligation. But I understand you because maybe you need English for work, for example. So it's different, I know.
Exactly. It's totally the opposite because I do all this stuff like studying grammar, taking notes, and I have actually I don't have a obligation exactly, but it's important for me. I think for Brennan to study English for our careers. So yeah, it's like an obligation. So I can't take that as a hobby. I think. But yeah, I think the process of learning a language is nice. And this point when start to have a conversation and understand the language, and when you can communicate with others, it's really nice. I had a lot of experience in like points using a language like Spanish, for example. So it was nice, and it's pretty nice the point of learn and know a language. So it's a interesting process, I guess. It's boring sometimes, but it's nice. But okay, I think we are on the question number two. So let's go to the question number three. What change are you making to your daily routine these days, or something that you are trying to change or trying to delete for your routine, for example? I don't know. What do you think, Brennan?
Okay, let me see. Before answering this question, I keep something that Len said in mind, and I have to disagree with her in a point. She said she don't speak English very good, but we are here for 40 minutes and you're only speaking English. I think this is a proof that you are wrong. With that in mind, I'm actually trying to go back to my daily routine because the past 2 weeks I was just putting ice on my knee, trying to be able to just walk again. I was taking medicines. I was working barely good, but with a lot of pain. So I wasn't doing a lot of things that I commonly do in my daily routine, and I am trying to rescue those things back to my routine. So not change, but I'm trying to putting things normally.
Yeah, nice. Do you think English is like a relaxed time for you, or just a good time for you do something while you can do something outside, or just exercise or something like that?
Um, some things I do with English as, for example, immersions. I face it as a relaxed thing that I do in my routine, but it's not the language itself, it's the immersion, speaking to people, the conversation. But studying and learning a language like, okay, how do I use this verb, or how I pronounce this word. Uh, this is not relaxing for me. I don't face it, as you said, as an obligation, but it's a schedule in my uh, day. Like now 7 p.m. I need uh, to go to the immersion. I need to speak English. I need to learn a little bit more about this language. I don't do it for fun. Like, okay, I'm on the sofa doing nothing, so now I'm going to start learning English. It's not something like, okay, I'm doing nothing, so I'm gonna play an online game. This is, I face it like a hobby. So when I'm doing nothing and I want some fun, like going out with my friends, but it's not. That's let me try to explain. Like, obligation is an extreme and hobby is another. Learning English is kind of in the middle or something like
It,
that.
it's just another task for you.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like that.
That's it.
I really got you. Yeah, I understand you, and I think this point that you said about immersion, for example, is the same for me because, as I said, I hate to study specifically English grammar, all the rules and all this stuff. I hate doing that in Spanish and in Portuguese also. So it's for me it's boring. But the point that when you learn a language and as you said, in the immersion that you can talk and that when you can use that, it's nice, you know. It's nice to talk about a lot of topics and learn something different and speak about I don't know anything. We talk here on the immersions about a lot of topics about hobbies and a lot of medicine, politics, and I don't know a lot of topics, healthy and all this stuff. So it's nice to do that and to use the language to have a conversation. It's not specifically I don't know like playing a video game, for example, but it's nice. I think it's nice to do that. So yeah, I really understand you. Uh, I think we are on the question number 3, right? So what do you think about that, Milene?
It's about routine. Number 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
changes that you are trying to do, for example.
I think I don't do any change in my routine in this day, but in this year, because now I can do more exercise. But my routine is the same. But I the difference is now I am running more because I'm try to running 4 days per week. So I change this because I need to run on weekend now. Because I will do like a competition in the end of this month. So I am trying to improve because in this place there are a lot of, I don't know, like climb. So it's hard to run in a climb place, maybe. Maybe I change this because now I need to run more to this day. Only this, but the rest is the same, like the beginning of this year. And Brenner, thank you for your comment about the English. But
Nice.
it's it.
Yeah. So I think you agree with me. When you stop to run, for example, for I don't know, some weeks, 1 week or 1 month, for example, it's uh pretty hard to go back to start run again, right? So for example, as I said, I ran on a competition 3 months ago, 2 months ago. And after that, I don't know why, but I stopped to run consistently. So to go back to run, to start run again, it was pretty difficult for me. And I don't know, I really don't know why, but to do exercise, it's hard. We all know that. But to when you stop to do and when you have to start again, it's more complicated, you know. So yeah, for me, it's a really challenge for me, I guess. But yeah, I'm trying to do that consistently. So it's complicated. So we are on the question number 3. So let's actually, I think we already answered the question number 4 in some way, right? It's about learning and study. So I think we can jump to the question number 6. Are you currently watching any new TV shows or movie or some TV shows or series or movie that you can share with us and you recommend, for example? What do you think, Milen? I start to feel.
I am watching the Rings of Power. Um, I have watched all the episodes available. So I am waiting for the next on Tuesday, on Thursday, I don't remember. Uh, only this TV show I am watching now. And if you have some recommendation for me, I accept.
Actually, I don't know new ones, but actually I like to watch the series that I have watched before. I like to watch again. For example, The Office. I have watched it one time and I'm watching again, so it's pretty nice. And How I Met Your Mother, for example, another one. I think I have watched it two times. This series and I like to watch that to watch that. So I'm trying to do that, doing that again. Uh, yeah, actually I don't watch some new series a lot of times. So yeah, I think that's the good point about me. But what do you think, Bren? What's your opinion?
If you have already watched Game of Thrones, I strongly recommend House of the Dragon because it's really good. And if you never watched Game of Thrones, start watching right now because, in my opinion, it's uh, the best TV show ever created. Uh, and I would say that even if I compare Game of Thrones with movies like Harry Potter, I I would say that Game of Thrones is better too. So I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, as you can see. So I recommend Game of Thrones if you've never watched it, and House of the Dragon if you have.
I totally agree with you, Brenner. I used to say the Game of Thrones is my top one of series. For me, is I don't like of the end, but
Yeah, yeah. Season finale was
but
not good,
yes,
but
yes,
yeah,
but I love this TV show. Is for me is perfect too.
Actually, I never watched Game of Thrones, and I don't know because it seemed like
Because you like
everyone.
comedy.
Yeah, I
We're
think
all
so.
of
I really think so. But I don't know, it seems like everyone have watched that and just me, no. So it's like of strange. A lot of friends of mine likes loves actually love Game of Thrones. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't like to watch uh a TV show with a lot of seasons and a lot of big episodes, you know. So I like to just watch 20, 30 minutes and stop. And I think that's, I don't know, I like to do that more. So I don't like to watch this kind of series, this kind
give
of
it
TV shows again.
give it a
Yeah, go ahead.
chance. Give it a
Okay,
chance.
okay. I will put that on the list. And
you're
actually,
not
I will.
you're
Yeah, go
not
ahead.
gonna regret for sure.
Nice, nice. I will put that on my list. Actually, I remember that I'm trying to go back to watch. Actually, I have watched until the season three, I guess, and I'm trying to watch to continue watching Sex Education. I don't know if you are listening about that, but it's a nice show. Actually, I recommend because it's really funny and they have a really great British accent, and it's not common for me, so it's nice to add that. Actually, I try to watch that with English subtitle, but it's complicated. It's complicated to understand, so I'm trying to do that. But it's nice to just listen these different accents. And the British accent is different, and it's pretty nice. So yeah, I recommend that. So I think we have time for one more question. So let's go to the question number 7. I think it's a good one. What are you doing to stay healthy and fit right now? Actually, it's not related just to exercise, so mainly about food, for example. What are you doing, or just sleep? It's a good point also. So, what do you think, Brennan? What are you doing?
You already answered for me. I'm trying to sleep better. Sleeping is a point for me because an important point actually because if I don't sleep well, my day is ruined. So yeah, I need to sleep my 8 9 hours a day, and I'm ready for the day. And otherwise, my day is terrible. So I'm trying to have a better sleep. I'm trying to sleep earlier, uh, and things like that. I'm not able to go to the gym or running or doing martial arts. So just sleeping and eating better.
Nice, nice. Actually, I really feel because I don't know how people do with I don't know 5 hours of sleep a day. I think it's pretty crazy. It doesn't work for me, so I really don't know. And what about you, Milene? What do you think about that? What are you doing actually?
For me, I can do exercise and I try eat better, but my problem is with sweet and candies because I like too much. So all the days I need a dessert after my lunch, after my dinner. I know it's a problem, but step by step. Now I am do exercise. After I will improve my my food. I have a good I can eat health food, but sometimes I eat a lot of sugar. But someday I will improve this.
Yeah, I understand you. I'm a really sugar lover, and it's complicated to not eat chocolate or something like that. It's really complicated, but yeah, we'll try. And welcome back, guys. What did you think about the immersion and about this topic? Let me know, Leticia, what do you think?
It's so nice. The conversation was cool with my group. Um, that's it.
Nice. And what do you think, Elton? How was the conversation for you?
Was good. Was a light conversation. The talk was amazing as well because it is a easy talk and it was things related to our routine. And yes, I enjoyed a lot.
Amazing, amazing. And what about you, Mari? What was it? How was the conversation for you? Mari, I don't know if you are here. I don't think so. So, and how about you, Camila? What was the conversation for you?
Well, I enjoy a lot the conversation. I can talk with a lot of topics with my routine and also could learn something new with the girls and the guy who was in the room. But for me was a great experience. I I really like, I really enjoy.
Amazing, amazing. So, guys, I will send here the link of the survey. As you know, it's an anonymous survey. You can say what did you think about the immersion? And I don't know, suggest another topics that you want to talk about. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope you come again on our immersion. And I see you soon. And yeah, that's it. Thank you and bye bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.